This is our Millennial life.
Helping our generation create their own success. Essentially, we just talk about shit that affects our lives.
Hello.
Hello.
So before we get into today's episode, I do just want to acknowledge that this is a weird setup. We are, if you're listening via podcast, we're actually recording via video as well, and Sean is very confused about
I'm
the
so
whole
confused because Zachary has really not explained to me what we're doing.
Well, the idea was 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago to this date, I created a video just before we left Ireland.
Life begins at the end of your comfort zone. That's exactly what a card I just received in the post said, and to be honest, it couldn't have came at a better time, because as I sat inside after just finishing packing for Canada, I sat there thinking, how do I get the message across to my viewers as to why I want to leave Ireland?
So the idea was to just reflect. Does that kind of catch you up a little, Shauna?
Yes.
So, this is probably the most complex recording setup I've had to date. So if there's any discrepancies, I apologize. So it's literally coming to the end of our 2 amazing years in Canada. And I think it's just like we booked our flights yesterday, which is so scary to think that we have the flights booked. We were a little delayed in booking the flights. Like we are leaving on the 30th. So it's
10 days?
Yeah, it's the 20th of August. And as you can tell with the energy in our voice, like we're a little kind of emotional about the whole thing. I think it has been a surreal experience. I think we've changed a lot as people. And I think we've just become far more independent. So let's talk 2 years ago, Shauna, like when we arrived to YVR into Richmond and got picked up by Carmel, who was, like a mother to us.
The best human ever.
Yeah. We were obviously so emotional at the time about coming over from Ireland and leaving our family and friends. And it was the first time we've ever done, had an experience where we packed up our lives and moved away for the foreseeable.
This is now home. It looks different. It feels different. The people are different. But different is good. Different is exciting and scary. Different pushes you out of your comfort zone and catapults you into the unknown. We don't know what's coming next or what challenges we'll face in getting there.
Yeah, I guess coming out 2 years ago, obviously we had our visa for 2 years, but we really didn't know how long we'd stay for. So it's kind of like jumping into the abyss and being like, all right, well, I guess I'm going to go for it. But really without actually knowing what's happening, which I know was really, really scary. I don't think we're not scared this time. We know what we're at now. We've grown up a lot. We kind of have a lot clearer direction of where we want to go with our lives. So if anything, I'm sad to be leaving Vancouver. I'm sad to be leaving the life that we built here, but I'm also really excited because we both have big dreams and big goals, and we need to put in the work. The last few months have been amazing, absolutely incredible. We've been traveling a lot, we've been working hard, but I think once we go home and put the head down for a year, I'm really, really excited to see what we can produce. Because doing it half-assedly over the last 4 months, we've done actually quite a lot.
Yeah, it's been absolutely crazy. And I think, we kind of joke around and say it's been an absolute circle, because we both arrived here with very independent kind of feeling that we could just accomplish Vancouver, no problem at all. And we kind of had the idea of working for ourselves, and we kind of quickly came to the reality that wasn't going to be the case. Living away is expensive. Living away from your parents and your family and stuff, it's it's demanding. And I think we both, started to realize that we had to go out there and get jobs pretty soon after we arrived. So like, you know, like I went in and I was doing demolition for a couple of weeks. Then I started working in an office for a couple of weeks. But at the same time, I knew it was a means to an end. And then ended up in recruitment. And, you know, Shauna, you went through 3 jobs as well.
Yeah. Started in casting, just at the assistant role, realized that that's not reliable enough. And when you move across the world, like, you need something that's reliable, because you know goddamn well your bills and your rent are pretty reliable. They will happen on the same day each month, and you have to pay them. And unless you have a reliable job to balance them out and to make sure that you can hit them, you're gonna be stressed as hell. So left there, went and then worked an admin role in a recruitment agency. Again, I was just like, I'm really bored. Like, not that this is a bad job. Like, I like working here. I like the girls. I liked working out of a WeWork, but I'm really bored and I'm not challenged, and I just feel stagnant, and I hate that feeling. So then moved into recruitment agency, as I've spoken about many a time on here, like intensely demanding. And I don't think I've ever worked so hard in my life, to be honest, as I did in that year and a bit.
You learned about hard work.
And that's the thing. And I think you can I swear?
Yeah.
You can, but like, my God, it teaches you hard work. And it teaches you to just put your head down and do your work, stay in your lane, and just work. Like, just work. So, like, I feel like for me personally, the last 2 years have been a huge amount of personal growth. Like, massively. I know myself before I got here, you could walk all over me. Like, you could walk all over me. I'm probably not going to say boo, but I know now if someone tried to screw me over, I will 100% stand up and be like, what? Sorry, no. Like, that's absolutely not happening. So I think that I've grown in terms of like growing a backbone and like putting my foot down and having the courage to do that, because girls listening, you all know, especially, it can be really hard, like really, really hard. So I think that's kind of what I've gained the most out of the last 2 years, just the independence, and then just growing a pair of balls, essentially.
I think, like, aside from the work side of things as well, it's been just incredible to meet. We kind of learned that, like, the difference in your life when you meet groups of friends that are very much into the things you're into, like, you know, and we've talked about this on our podcast before, and if you're listening on our podcast, we've talked about it on this podcast, that, you know, meeting, like, actually making the effort to find friends that love what you love to do just makes your life so much better, and it makes everything way less stressful.
Well, because you can be your authentic self. You're not hiding. You're not putting on a show for a group that you feel you need to behave in such a way in order to fit in. Like, when you move away, you get to build your friend group from scratch. You know nobody. You arrive in this country not knowing anyone. And you can literally build and mold and adapt the people that you want to spend the time with based on how they make you feel, rather than because it is how it is and you've grown up with them. And I think that that is something that we're very grateful for. We feel really fortunate to have found such a great group of people to spend our lives with and choose our family out here, because that's what they are. You literally get to choose your family. And
unfortunately, that is one of the harder things about going back to...
That sucks. I'm actually so dreading it.
Yeah, like, going back to Ireland is going to be tough saying goodbye. Like, we're not looking forward to the sad goodbyes. No. And I think, like, the easy way of kind of explaining, you know, like, how that's going to help us go... Like, you know, it's tough leaving our friends. There's no doubt about that. But going back, we know what to look for.
Yeah.
You know, we know that you can build a group of friends to really help you, you know, make leaps and bounds in your own success and your own happiness. And, like, we have a few of those friends already at home, and it's just kind of taught us that, you know, we need to hone in on that group.
Like, I think what we've probably learned really clearly here is that, like, a friendship is 50-50. Like, as any relationship is, and I think Canada has really shown us that, like, if your friends aren't willing to put in 50% of the effort and you feel like you're doing all the running, sorry, screw them. Like, that's not a friendship. Obviously, there'll be times when it ebbs and flows and it'll be 80-20 or 60-40, whatever. But in general, it needs to be 50-50 because your friends have to be your biggest cheerleaders, but also your biggest critics. Mm-hmm. And you need to have that relationship. And I think we will need to find that at home. We will have to build on that at home. And that's maybe, I think for me anyway, that's the thing I'm like most anxious about. Like,
yeah,
I'm not.
I think that's definitely the thing that's holding Sean.
Yeah, I do not want to leave these people.
Let's talk about like family. I think for me, like, family has always been such an important part of my life, and that was definitely the hardest part about moving away, was saying those goodbyes. Like, those goodbyes, like, we laugh about it sometimes, like, just they were gut-wrenching. They were horrible.
My God.
And like, we never ever want to repeat those goodbyes.
No, they were horrendous.
Too hard. But I think that is one thing, you know, you can't get out here, is you can never replace your family. You can make an amazing group of friends, which we have and we're so grateful for. But like, your siblings, your mom, your dad, your relations,
your dogs.
Like, we're so excited about that.
No, I can't wait to see everyone. Like, I really can't wait. And I feel like we're also going back as adults now rather than children. Like, I think we left. I think
we're ready for a relationship with our parents and our family like that just isn't child.
Yeah, it's like,
parent.
I don't want to rely on them financially. I don't want to rely on them for anything really, other than what they maybe choose to help us with. But I don't want to rely on them for anything. And I think that's probably the shift that we've had, that we've gained our independence out here. And I don't want to put that burden back on our parents, because it's not fair. Like, we're adults now. We need to stand on our own 2 feet. We need to get our shit done on our own.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably the biggest shift in terms of like the familial relationships. Just like, we've grown up.
A lot more than we probably realized too. Like,
I think so. I'm kind of saying this now and I'm like, wow, shit.
Like, I know we feel like we've grown up, but I do feel like that's going to hit us when we land, and it's like, we're just feeling so much more independent. Like, we know we can do this, and we can survive on our own.
Because we've done it for 2 years.
Yeah, it's crazy. And it's just crazy, guys. If you ever do move away, time goes so fast.
Canada has been the most incredible journey over the last 18 months. Life moves pretty fast out here, and although we don't know when this chapter of our lives will end, we do know that the days, weeks, months, and years can go by fast. Every so often, there's a moment or a period of time.
Oh my God. I was only talking to my granny today, and she was like, I feel like it's been a lifetime, but also a blink of an eye, and you're back. Like,
it's your nanny is just like so excited to see you.
Yeah, she is.
Out of everyone.
I think overall, as much as it's sad, I think we're ready.
Yeah.
I think we have so many big ideas and big plans that we're like gearing to go on that. But the main thing that we'll miss, though, is the people here.
Yeah.
I'm not going to particularly miss Vancouver. I'm not going to particularly miss Canada.
Not this incredible city.
Oh, like, I love it here. Don't get me wrong, but it's not like Ireland's a gorgeous place as well.
Yeah.
And anywhere else in the world is a gorgeous place. I don't miss the places, I miss the people. Mm-hmm. So...
And that's something I've said to everyone that's asked me, like, oh, you must be feeling sad about going home. And I'm like, not really, because like, I always try to see the best in wherever I'm living. And like, neither of us have ever disliked Ireland. Ireland's home. Ireland is a fantastic place. And it's almost sad that, like, it was tough at the time that we both knew we had to leave Ireland to go through this massive mindset change and to grow up. And now that it's done, it's just like, it's an amazing thing. Like, we've achieved that. But yeah, Ireland's awesome. And we're excited about that.
Yeah. It does make me sad when I hear people over here just like slating home.
Yeah.
I'm like, but it's home. And like, yeah, it has its quirks. And yeah, we're probably really odd people. But like, it's still home, and it's where we will naturally orientate. Like, we read an article there yesterday that this year, the most amount of people have come home to Ireland since 2007. So that's since before the recession. Like, that's Celtic Tiger time. So people are coming home in their thousands at the moment, because at the end of the day, we've all gone through something really traumatic and awful the last few months of COVID. And people, I think, are realizing, okay, I can shit on Ireland as much as I want, but at the end of the day, it's home. And it's where my family are. And it's where I will naturally be drawn back to. So I think that that's quite an interesting paradigm. I think that's the word. At the moment, and we're just two more that are returning home.
And like, I was on a call the other day, just like with this community group, Irish community group I work on, and one of the questions I was asked was, how do you feel about like going home to the lifestyle change with the lifestyle change? And my response was like, well, there is no lifestyle change really, because your lifestyle is how you choose to live it, you know. And
ooh, that's a good quote.
Yeah, like, and it's the truth. Like, you know, like, people are like, oh, well, there's so much hiking opportunity in Canada, and it's like,
there's so many,
hikes in Ireland. It's like, oh, well, like, you know, you can go to the beach, you can swim. It's like, oh, well, you can do that in Ireland. It might
just
be
a bit colder.
And it's like, well, the drinking culture, and the drinking culture is how you make it, you know. So like,
but I actually think the drinking culture here, among the people that I knew anyway, was more. I was definitely out drinking more here when I worked in corporate than I ever did at home.
Yeah.
So I would say it's more so a corporate lifestyle rather than
thing at
oh,
that point.
I'd be smashed on a Wednesday, and Thursdays would be vile. But I actually, obviously, Ireland has a drinking culture. We can't deny that. We're known for it globally. But I do think it's a corporate culture. Like, you go out for drinks at the end of the day to burn off some steam. Like, that's the thing. It's a lifestyle. It's how you want to live your life. And if you don't want to engage in that drinking, you don't have to. You can go out and have the crack. You don't have to drink. You choose to drink.
Yep, absolutely.
No one's shoving a drink down your throat, hopefully. So that's the thing. Like, it's what you make it. So that's why I get irked when people are like, oh, Ireland's so crap. Like, you always just end up drinking. I'm like, you pick up a pint. You choose to. Side note. Anyway. And it's true, though.
It is so true. And, you know, I think we're just both excited to get back and just set up our own new lives. So, you know, I just wanted to finish the kind of the follow-up, I guess. Like, I know we've been making these videos on Canada for the past 2 years, and it needed some closure.
This is the finale.
The finale, if you will, of the Canada Diaries.
Oh my God, that's so scary. But the thing is, though, it's the finale on the Canada Diaries, but it's also the opening for the rest of our lives, like, as cheesy as that sounds.
I feel like we're closing one door and opening 10.
Yeah.
So, you know, the channel's going nowhere. The content's going nowhere.
There's still
we're just moving 7,000 miles across the world. We've made amazing friends. We've lived incredible lives over here. We've traveled a lot, especially over the past couple of months.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't discourage it to anyone to ever travel, move country.
I don't know
explore.
why you wouldn't.
Yeah.
Honestly, you will waste so many years if you don't get out and just do something. Like, do something that scares you, and that probably is moving halfway across the world. Like, be it Canada, be it Australia, like, maybe not the US right now, but maybe if you want to. But go and live somewhere else. Go and live in Europe. Like, go and live somewhere where you don't know anyone and you have to build your own life, because it's really liberating. Like, it's really liberating, and it's really exciting. And yes, it's stressful, and yes, it can be scary, but the rewards are so worth it.
And on that note, we'll see you back in Irlande. Peace out, guys.
See you later.
Bye.
How can I get over this hurdle? Every other challenge makes me stumble. Should I carry on the way I do with life? Because from what I've heard, all of what you say is right. And yes, I know it's not going to be easy, but I know it will be worth everything. Still I feel I'm burning my heart out again. just need you to see what you want me to be, but you say I already am. How can I get over